What's up, people? It's Mental Health Monday, which will be brought to you on a weekly basis, only for the purpose of awareness. After searching several notable sites, reading some of the statistics, and witnessing behavioral changes in various segments of life, it is time that we take our mental health as serious as we take our physical health. God's desire is that we thrive in every area of our living, but the only way for us to do so is we must recognize when there is something awry. However, before we can move on, it is critical that I inform you of this disclaimer. Mental Health Monday is in no way, shape, form, or fashion diagnosing the stability or instability of anyone's mind, nor is this information an attempt to be categorized or characterized as a mental health professional's opinion. It is simply a point of reference with the intent to help someone seek assistance for themselves or a loved one. Now, let's get started. For the sake of review, we'll start with personality. Last week we talked about what a personality disorder is. This week we'll just talk about personality, but keeping in mind that a disorder affects your personality, which is a way of thinking, feeling, functioning, and behaving that makes a person different from other people. An individual's personality is influenced by experiences, environment, surroundings, life situations, and inherited characteristics. A person's personality typically stays with them over time. A personality disorder is a way of thinking, feeling, functioning, behaving that deviates from the expectations of the culture. We're going to go a little bit more in depth about expectations of the culture that causes distress or problems functioning and lasts over time. This is a quote from the American Psychiatric Association. Where does personality come from? Our brain, the largest section of the brain located in the front of the head, the frontal lobe, is involved in personality characteristics and movement. Direct source, Johns Hopkins Medicine. The frontal lobe is the part of the brain that controls important cognitive skills in humans, such as emotional expression, problem solving, memory, language, judgment, and sexual behaviors. It is, in essence, the control panel of our personality and our ability to communicate. Direct quote from healthline.com. What are the expectations of culture? First, let's define expectation and culture. Expectation, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. A belief that someone will or should achieve something or do something in particular. Culture, the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. So let me give a couple examples here. It is an expected belief that all African Americans would enjoy ribs, watermelon, are Christian or Muslim. We love to sing, dance, play, or watch sports. Now, not only is this expected based on our culture, it is also considered stereotyping. It is also expected within the culture of our religious affiliation that all Christians operate with integrity, are kind, treat everyone with the utmost respect, don't drink, cuss, lie, steal, fornicate, commit adultery, etc. Well, we all know that that's not quite true. As we know, depending on an individual's experience, ethnicity, and rearing, these expectations can lead to bad decisions, misinterpretations, confusion, hurt, pain, arguments, divorce, and all sorts of damage. This occurs because we don't have the same genetics, experiences, rearing, or influence in our lives. Let's dig a little deeper. What are the expectations of culture? One of the primary reasons some people don't get along or understand one another is because of the cultural aspect. This type of dilemma can be caused even among those within the same ethnic group. For example, all green people don't get along because some green people grew up in a Catholic environment. Others grew up in an apostolic environment. Some are accustomed to eating sugar on their grits while others eat salt and pepper. There are some that have experienced all the trappings of city living, while others only know the suburban life. To add even more insult to injury, you cannot, let me say that one more time, you cannot dismiss the family dynamic. Single parents, two-parent household, abusive parent, mentally ill parent, young parent, old parent, irresponsible parent, no parent, only child, middle child, oldest child, all play a role and adds more confusion to the equation. By the time you put all these entities together, you end up with millions of expectations and personalities based on these individual experiences within the same culture. Now that we understand how expectations and culture plays a role, we're going back now to the personality disorders, which are long-term patterns of behaviors and inner experiences that differs significantly from what is expected and varies from person to person. Personality disorders affect at least two of these areas: way of thinking about oneself and others, way of responding emotionally, way of relating to other people, way of controlling one's behavior. Did you know? According to Dr. Brenda Shook, we don't inherit behavior or personality, but rather we inherit genes. And these genes contain information that produces proteins, which can from in many combinations, all affecting our behavior. And it still could depend on the environment what will turn on and off the gene. That's a direct quote from National University. I'm sure by now we're all eager to know what causes personality disorders. Well, possibly, as we've already talked about, genes or genetics, childhood trauma, verbal abuse, high reactivity, sensitive to light, noise, texture, and other stimuli may play a role. Peers, adult trauma and experiences. Direct quote from Psychological Association, the American Psychological Association. But did you know? Those who have a family history of alcoholism have a higher risk of developing a drinking problem. Studies show that alcoholism is approximately 50% attributable to genetics. That's from the Addiction Center. Alrighty then, now it's time to do a little critical thinking exercise. I've given you tons of information that you should be able to come up with a response to this question after I lay out the two characters in this scenario. So we have Barbara Blue. Barbara Blue, she grew up on the west side of Chicago. She's the oldest of five siblings, reared by both mom and dad. Mom is an educator and the breadwinner. Dad is a dreamer and alcoholic. Their community was overwhelmed with violence and drug activity. She's also a Catholic, graduated with a bachelor's in accounting, works as an accountant, very sociable, lots of friends, light skinned. She's single, 30 years old, has three children, two siblings are in prison. One died of a gunshot wound by the hands of the police. Gretchen Green grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, the only child, reared in a single-parent home with mom. Mom is a corporate executive. Dad wasn't involved in Gretchen's life. Their community was quiet. She's a Baptist, graduated with a bachelor's in business administration, works as a director of development. She's sociable, very few friends, dark-skinned, married, 30 years old, has two children, witnessed a friend die on the basketball court while in high school. Could either of these two young women have a personality disorder? Please write your answer in the comments below. See you next week. Holla!